Something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. Are you serious? This missing Malaysian mystery, this airplane that vanished in midair. And at first, we got reports from the media that it was believed that the plane disintegrated in air, leaving not a trace. That's impossible, and we all knew it was impossible. Then we were told, no, it crashed somewhere in the ocean there in the China South Sea, and there's all kinds of assets on the way to find it, including 4 United States naval ships, and there'll be some help from the Chinese and all these different nations, and we will find it. It's just a matter of 72 hours. Well, within 72 hours, when there wasn't 1 ounce of debris anywhere, you guys know that I came on here and I kept saying, guys, this plane didn't crash, or at least it didn't crash like you think it did. It didn't get blown up in the sky. There'd be pieces everywhere. This plane has been taken. Now, it could have been that the pilots took the plane. It could have been that somebody else, those 2 Iranian nationals using stolen passports, hijacked the plane. It could have been that some type of sophisticated government took over the plane using different technologies. But one thing's for sure, the plane, this was deliberate. And it's very possible the plane was taken and flown to an undisclosed area, landed, and is hid in an underground hangar or bunker. The question would be why, if that's the case? Well, that was our theory, and we didn't take us long to find out there are 20 employees that are on that plane that work for Freescales Limited out of Austin, Texas, a company that makes microchips. Matter of fact, Freescale is a leader in the embedded processing solutions for the automotive, consumer, industrial, and networking markets. Take it a step further. They are the biggest defense contractor of microchips and RFID microchip embedded technology and processing and censorship or sensors in all of Americans, all military branches and defense systems. These guys have intellectual property that the world wants. And the 20 employees that were on this plane, they were top engineers who would have had access, maybe, and some of them were patent holders, meaning they had the intellectual property within them and maybe even on them in their laptops or cargo. Now, Freescale also they make microcontrollers. They're the leaders in microcontrollers and microprocessors to sensors, analog ICs, and connectivity. And technologies are fueling the next great wave of innovation. These guys, Freescale Limited out of Austin, Texas, has 18,000 employees, and they work in 20 different countries, including Malaysia and China. Now, having said that, it would be potentially a motive would be to capture this plane, to hijack it, deliberately to divert it, take it somewhere, hide it, and interrogate those 20 employees to capture their intellectual knowledge, to extract from them what is so valuable to the rest of the world. Now, having said that, yesterday in Ukraine, the United States of America had a drone confiscated, stolen, if you will, by Russia. We had a spy drone flying 4,000 feet above Ukraine, spying on troop movement by the Russians. The Russians took our drone. They didn't shoot it out of the sky. They took over it using some type of technology. They took control of it away from us. And remote controlly brought the drone down and landed it in Ukraine and fully captured it intact. Now, we knew that the Chinese could do this 2 years ago when they took 2 of our drones and landed them in an island off the coast of the Philippines. And we found out it was the Chinese that did it. So what's happening is, the realization is very clear to me. The world, China probably sold that same technology to Russia, or Edward Snowden's always in the mix there. You always have to wonder, he was in Hong Kong, then he was in Russia. But let's not blame him, because he's kind of our hero, because he actually told on the United States and the NSA. So let's not try to pin that on him. But certainly the Chinese are motivated to share these types of secrets with the Russians, because when you come right down to it, communist brothers stick together, and it leaves the United States on the outside. Now, having said that, why is America always spying on people? Why is America intruding into other people's airspaces? Why is America always pushing the limits? And the Russians are showing us they can take our spy planes down, our spy drones down anytime they want, which means the technology is advancing. But what did those 20 employees on that mystery missing Malaysian airplane, what is it they knew? What new technologies did they possess that would be a motivation for someone to take a plane and deliberately hijack it? You might say, Paul, you are way outside. No, I'm not. I told you this thing was stolen, and now the authorities this morning in a press conference in Malaysia are admitting plane disappearance was deliberate. It was not an accident. It was deliberate. Here's why. The plane was traveling. It was at 35,000 feet when it was all of a sudden that one of the transponders was turned off. It also went blank off the radar screen. And then 14 minutes later, another transponder was turned off. Also, the plane veered, and went completely in a different direction. What we also found out from the pings off the engine of the Rolls-Royce engine and off the aircraft from Boeing, shooting off satellites telling the manufacturers how well the plane is operating, we know that the pilot took the plane from 35,000 feet to 45,000 feet. He stayed there for a little bit and then brought the plane down fairly rapidly to 23,000 feet. When he got to 23,000, he stayed there a little bit and then gradually brought it back up to 35,000. He was up in the 45,000 foot range long enough that the passengers could have all died if he chose to turn off the air, the compression of the air in the cabin. We don't know if he did that or not, but he may have been doing this maneuver just to escape radar. We also know he zigzagged on his flight plan, and we also know that he flew another 6 hours after shutting off all communications. How do we know it? Because of those pings that were going off a satellite and was captured by the United States military. We know this plane flew 6 more hours, which means this plane could have landed anywhere. It could have landed in China. It could have landed in North Vietnam. It could have landed in North Korea. It could have landed in Iran or Pakistan. It could have there is so many places, or some remote island. So we don't know where. Now here's what the AP is saying. The missing Malaysian jetliner was deliberately diverted and continued flying for more than 6 hours after losing contact with the ground, meaning it could have gone as far as Kazakhstan or into the Indian Ocean from the southern reaches. Malaysia's leader is telling us. Prime Minister of Malaysia's statement confirmed days of mounting speculation that the missing Malaysian airline flight MH370 to Beijing more than a week ago was not accidental. This was deliberate. This is a hijacking. It refocused the investigation into the flight's crews now and passengers. Now, I'm the only guy who talks to you about the 20 employees from Freescale. I've been telling you about it for 4 days. You're going to hear about it now, and probably this weekend. They're finally going to have to bring up that there was 20 employees from Freescales Limited that were high engineers that possessed some very powerful microprocessing, microcontrolling sensor, intellectual property that may be held hostage. These people on this plane may still be alive. We just don't know what the motive is yet, because whatever it is they're wanting from the people and the plane has not been released yet. We don't know who did it yet, but we're on the search. It may be that after extracting this information from these employees, they may kill all the employees, save the plane in hiding for 2 years, and bring it back with warheads and fly it directly into a major city as a massive terrorist attack or attack of war. We don't know the answer to that yet. But we do know that this Boeing 777 flight MH370 was stolen, was taken, was hijacked, either by the 2 pilots that were Malaysian or by the 2 Iranians who had the stolen passports, or someone else. Either the pilots did it or someone else took it from them. When I was watching several major long-term commercial pilots last night explain that whoever did it had to really understand how the plane's systems are shut down, including you'd have to crawl down in the belly of the plane and unhook one of the sensors there. The other 2 could be shut off from the cockpit. And you then had to know how to coordinate your plane to avoid radar. And that would have to be someone who had a military background and had to have a lot of training to do that. And he said that would be very few people in each government, but there are people who can. And he himself said, I can do it. So it has to be someone with extensive training, very skilled, with military background and preparation. This was a well-engineered, this was not a lucky, this isn't some offshoot radical. This is a very sophisticated, deliberate hijacking of a Boeing 777 with 239 souls on board. I'll be right back with part 2 of today's The Mystery of the Missing Malaysian Airline. I'll be right back. Please, right now, do not give up on these people that have in this plane. They may everyone be alive. They still may be alive. Pray for them. Please pray for them.